Welcome to Danny Designs. I'm Dan100, and today I'll be continuing my talk on the Gears of War 4 multiplayer experience. Today I'll be talking about the Horde mode and Gears of War 4's Season Pass. As usual, I'd like to preface this by saying I'm a big fan of the Gears of War franchise, and everything I say here is my thoughts and opinions and suggestions. Nothing I say is meant to be inflammatory or destructive or harmful to anyone at the Coalition or anyone that enjoys Gears of War. With that being said, I would like to let you know that I will be pretty harsh and very critical of the Gears of War Season Pass. So let's get right into it. First thing I'm going to talk about is Gears of War 4's Horde mode. Horde 3.0 is a great evolution of what Gears of War 3's Horde 2.0 established. In 3.0, you're not limited to a predetermined base of operations. You're able to pick up the Fabricator, a device that creates weapons and fortifications for players in exchange for energy. Energy is a currency that players pick up off the ground from defeated enemies. Energy is put into the Fabricator, and out comes the fortifications. Players are capable of carrying the Fabricator to any part of the map they deem fit. This allows players to experiment with Fabricator placement, allowing players to develop strategies on each map on which is the best way to deal with each consecutive wave. Gameplay-wise, it's great. It's 30 frames a second though, which is kind of a odd shift, whereas the Versus mode was 60 frames. But I understand why. With everything going on in terms of AI and gameplay explosions, Horde skills and everything, I understand why it's a 30 frame per second game mode. I know some people might not like that, but in this sense you're kind of sacrificing frames for gameplay that stays a consistent 30 frames. Talking about some of the negative aspects, there's a lot of good things they did. The good news is the game allows for a little bit more depth going on because now you have character classes, and these character classes are Engineer, Scout, Heavy, Sniper, and Soldier. And these classes allow you to do different abilities, and you have different Horde skills you can equip to them. Unfortunately, leveling up these classes takes a lot of time and effort. So if you're a casual Horde player such as myself, it can be a bit of a buzzkill. You hop in the Horde and your characters aren't leveled up, and neither are your skills. I've been playing Horde on and off for a little bit, and I only have one level 5 engineer, and my Horde skills aren't as strong as they could be because I haven't been unlocking Horde skills. And how do you level up your Horde skills? Well, that's pretty simple. It's by crafting. Once again, players must buy booster packs, either Horde booster or Operations booster packs, and these Horde skills will then be used to craft or level up your current skills. If you're a religious Horde player, this is probably not going to be a big issue for you, and I don't think this is necessarily a deal breaker, but it's something to talk about. Although another complaint is that if you do not own a Horde skill for any class, if you're missing a Horde skill, you cannot craft it. You need to own the Horde skill in order to craft a new one, which is a pain. If you are missing an epic Horde skill for, say, the Sniper class, you will have to wait to unlock it before you can even have a chance of leveling it up. Another complaint I have is that you can't see your teammates or squad mates. You can't see the level of their class or their skills. So in the pregame lobby, you can see if people are choosing, for example, an engineer, but you can't see what level engineer they are, or what skills they have equipped, or what level those skills are. And in the middle of the game, there's no way to actually identify players for what their roles are. For example, if you hit the TACCOM button, you can't see the player's class. You can't see if they're an engineer, a scout, what level they are. All you see is how much energy they've earned. I want to know the person running up next to me is a scout, so I can let them get the energy instead. Another criticism I have is that every wave is pretty much identical. Wave 1 is wave 11, which is wave 21, and so on and so forth. There are 5 boss waves, but only 4 bosses. And to me that seems a little low. The 4 bosses are the Kestrel Helicopter, the Swarmak, Snatcher, and Carrier. And one of the problems I have with these bosses is that the Snatcher and Carrier are essentially huge bullet sponges, and this is only compounded on higher difficulties and later waves. And these two types of bosses tend to just bum rush you and smash all your fortifications. Even if you're capable of taking them out, the game will actually spawn an additional boss if you eliminate them too quickly. And I find it a little odd to punish a team that quickly eliminates one of these bosses. Like I said, unfortunately, if you played wave 1, you've played wave 41. Which means the enemies are basically the same. You get DBs in the first wave, you get DBs in wave 41.
And the only way to necessarily combat this is to kind of spice things up. Maybe add different enemies. Maybe have waves that are only one type of enemy. For example, a wave of 100 juvies on wave 5 or wave 17 would be a good way of mixing things up and keeping things interesting. A couple new bosses, a couple new enemy types, Lambent for example, Locust, something along those lines to help spice things up and mix up the variety.
Another suggestion would be to spice up the bonus objectives. I think Mass Effect 3 did this really well with their bonus objectives. They had objectives that forced players to come out of hiding and allowed players to be more active on the battlefield.
Another suggestion that I think is very important, establishing lobbies for Horde. Like I said, I'm a casual player. Sometimes I just want to play 10 or maybe 20 waves. There's no way I ever want to play 50 waves of Horde casually. I've only done 50 waves of Horde on very rare occasions. I've done it once in Gears of War 2, maybe twice in Gears 3, and I've done it once in Gears 4. But the thing is,
for someone like me, 50 waves of Horde is just something I can't do normally. I have other things to do. I want to just play 20 waves. On the contrary, there are also other people that truly enjoy playing 50 waves of Horde.
A lobby that allowed you to set 10 waves, 20 waves, or 50 waves, I think that would be very beneficial to the community. Far too often, people play for the full 50 waves, but then people who are like me, just want to do 10 or 20 waves, end up quitting. And allowing people to establish that, hey, this is 50 waves, if you join, you know what you're getting in for. That would be a very ideal situation, I think. It might be a little more complicated on the matchmaking side of things, but I think that would benefit the community overall.
And honestly, I can't get mad at players who quit after 20 waves because, hey, there's tons of bounty cards that are for 1 to 20 waves. If I have a bounty for 1 to 20 waves, there's no benefit for me staying after 20 waves have been completed. A quick suggestion to fix this problem would be to allow players to double down on their bounty. For example, if they equip a 20 waves on normal Horde bounty card, allow them to double down on it. If they get 40 waves, they get twice as much experience. Doubling down can actually make smaller bounties into more valuable bounties. Allowing players to double down on bounties might encourage them to stay the full 50 waves.
I feel that part of the reason why people quit is because they don't get the map they want. The fact that the Horde lobby as it is now doesn't have a vote feature, I don't understand why they wouldn't have a vote option. I'd rather have an option between 3 maps or 2 maps even.
One thing I noticed about Horde is that the Fabricator does have options for players to purchase weapons, but I've never really seen anyone utilize this feature on the Fabricator. I know I never have. My suggestion is, let's make this more useful. Let's give this some utility to the players. First thought that came to my head was allowing each class to have one power weapon that would benefit them and their class. For example, the Heavy could have a motor that they can use, and the Scout can have a sawed-off shotgun. Engineer can have a tripwire crossbow, the one from Gears of War Judgment, which was criminally underutilized in their survival mode. And for the Sniper, we could give them the one-shot heavy weapon, and for the Soldier, give them a Hammer of Dawn. And I know what you're thinking, they already have class skills that do these things, but allowing players to actually use these power weapons on their own terms would be an interesting way of changing up the dynamic of the map. Also, these power weapons would be powerful, yes, but we would balance it out. Every time you buy the weapon, it becomes more expensive, and as the waves go on, it becomes more and more expensive as well. So if a player thinks they can just breeze through the game by purchasing a power weapon over and over again, they'll be sorely mistaken when they see that it's going to raise in price exponentially.
And my final suggestion for Horde 3.0 is to add more character skills. Right now, all the characters have epic skills except for the Engineer. And to me, the epic skill for the Engineer could be something like building the Silverback. Epic skill that allowed them to build DBs. They can build Shock Trackers, Shepherds, Deadeyes, DR1s, Sentinels. I'm actually surprised that the level 5 decoy in this game doesn't turn into a Onyx Guard or a DB. Kind of a letdown, to be honest. That would be a pretty cool epic skill. I know I just said that it's a little grindy, but for players that are playing this mode all the time, they desperately want new content. So adding a few new character skills here and there maybe 1 or 2 with every update. I think they'll help keep things fresh for a lot of the players. My overall thoughts with Horde 3.0 is very positive. I do feel that it might be a little grindy for casual players, and with a few tweaks to the matchmaking and lobby system, it would be great for those who really enjoy this mode, adding a few more skills, mixing up the waves. And one thing to note, Gears invented the Horde mode, but nowadays there's plenty of games that have Horde modes that are innovating and staying fresh. The Coalition needs to do everything it can to remain the #1 Horde game mode out there today. And now the most controversial thing I could talk about with Gears of War 4 is the Season Pass. Originally, I was going to get the deluxe edition of Gears of War, the Ultimate Edition, which came with the Season Pass. I was pretty much dead set on buying the Ultimate Edition, but then I did some research. What does the Season Pass offer? And I was a little surprised to see that the Season Pass doesn't offer a lot of value to most players. Really pay attention to what I'm going to say here, because I'm not saying the Season Pass is worthless, but I'm saying that the value it offers to most players isn't very useful. The Season Pass is 24 additional maps, 2 every month for a year. You get some skins, and you get an airdrop. An airdrop is basically 20 booster packs. You also get access to developer playlist, extra XP, and credits. But if we really look at the fine print, that's where the value is lost. Let's break it down. The airdrop itself is about $20 if you would like to buy that separately. The Season Pass itself is $50 and it offers 2 new maps every month for a year. So that'll be a total of 24 maps. The maps are where the players have the most value, correct? To me, that's where the value is actually lost. Now, everyone gets the new maps, which I think is great. You don't want to divide up the online community between those who have the Season Pass and those who don't. The problem I see with it, for me, or at least this is what allowed me to make my decision, is that the new maps that come out every month are always going to be available to people without the Season Pass. If you're buying the Season Pass, you get access to the new maps for private games. And I said to myself, well, do I need that? And the answer was no. Back when I was in high school, I had a lot more free time on my hands, so I played a lot of private matches, but I can't really see myself or many people valuing that or having that a need for private map access. If I were to play private match right now, I would still have 10 maps. It was only offering value to people that were in clans or people that were competing in Gears of War on a professional level. To an average player or even someone like myself who loves the game, it didn't have a lot of value. So a lot of people bought the Ultimate Edition expecting value, but the value they were getting wasn't there. Now, like I said, there is value, but the problem is 24 maps, you don't have them right off the bat. It's 2 a month. So that value is a very slow drip feed. Most players, they were getting the Season Pass thinking the Season Pass content was exclusive. Now, I'm not saying that the Season Pass was deceptive, but people did have a perception that the Season Pass was value, that getting the Ultimate Edition was the most valuable or the best deal they can get. Which is why a lot of players went to the forums and the Gears of War subreddit to express their dissatisfaction with the Season Pass. They felt that they bought the Ultimate Edition or the Season Pass by itself in order to get more value from the game, but instead they're not really seeing that value at all. I was actually going to offer some suggestions how I would make the Season Pass more valuable. And I do understand that at this time, the Coalition has taken steps to actually offer more content in the Season Pass. In my opinion, and without being inflammatory, I don't think the Season Pass offered enough value to the customers. What I would do is, I would have many events. Every other weekend, double XP for Season Pass holders, double credits or bonus credits. I would have discounts on real money and on credits. For example, if an elite pack costs $3 in real life currency, the discount would make it cost $1.50. And if it costs 2,000 credits, make it cost 1,500 credits instead. Season Pass holders might have access to more packs, might have access to better discounts, better offers. Developer playlist or VIP rooms that pop up once a month, to me, is still not really worth it. It's basically, you already sold the game to the customer. The season pass is icing on the cake. If you're a developer, you want them to get the season pass because that's $50 extra. Your goal to season pass is to offer so much content and so much value, it would be foolish not to have the season pass. As a non-season pass holder, I should look at my friend who has a season pass and say, you know what, that might be worth it. Constant packs, constant XP, constant credits, more value, exclusive skins, exclusive items would convince me and other people to buy it. It needs to basically be bursting with content. Truth be told, at this moment, the season pass simply lacks so much content. Buying it is foolish. It should be the opposite. There should be so much content pouring out of it that it would be foolish not to capitalize on it. For the month of January 2017, the Coalition gave Season Pass holders a 20-pack 3-card airdrop that featured content from the latest Series 2 skins. I think that's a step in the right direction, but once again, I'd argue that that value will vary from player to player. If you're someone like me, I have terrible luck with loot boxes and things like that. It took me weeks to get a new character while playing Gears of War 4 because all I did was open up loot crates at a pretty slow rate. I would argue that it's a step in the right direction, but at the same time, it's not going to be the same value for every player. If you want players to have the same value, give them XP weekends that don't divide them up from players. That's actually one thing I wanted to say too. I think having double XP rooms is splitting up the community. I understand there might be some sort of technical reason, but I don't understand why Gears can't just have, double XP turned on for Season Pass holders when they play a game with non-Season Pass holders. If Season Pass holders had a $1 pack weekend where all packs are $1, then there will be people that will spend $10 or $20 on these $1 pack weekends for Season Pass holders. If you are a non-Season Pass holder, you would be encouraged to buy the Season Pass because on these special event weekends and all these extras that you're getting, you are getting value for the pass. I'm happy to see the Coalition listening and responding to a lot of complaints that the community has spoken out about, and I'm glad to see they're taking steps to rectify some of the problems players had.
Unfortunately, for the month of February 2017, the Coalition released 2 new maps for the community, but I have to say I am actually kind of disappointed, and I'm not even a Season Pass holder. One of the maps is just a relit version of a map that came with the game. We have Impact Dark. I'm a game designer. I work in Unreal. I understand that relighting a map can actually change the feel of it, change the tone, change the way players interact with it. But as a game designer and a gamer, I understand that people who already don't feel like they're getting value for their Season Pass, they're going to see this and they're not going to be happy. I'm not really sure what was going through their minds, but as a game developer in kind of this issue with their community, this just seems like a huge step back. After giving people what they want, they go ahead and release Impact Dark. And I have to say, as a fan of the series, I'm actually very disappointed. I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. And another thing, nobody likes a turret on Glory. If you want to make a map for a competitive game, do not put a turret on it, please. If you replace the turret with the Mulcher, you'll have a much more balanced map.
I was actually really stoked to play as Run the Jewels. I'm actually a pretty big Run the Jewels fan. If you watch me on my live streams, I've been playing Run the Jewels 3 quite a lot. By the way, to go download, it's a great album. I was actually very disappointed to see that to play as Run the Jewels, to play as LP and Killer Mike, it was a $20 microtransaction, non-negotiable.
There's no other way to unlock them aside from paying the full $20 for both characters. In contrast, if you wanted to play as Aaron Griffin, who is based off Ice-T in Gears of War 3, or like the Gears of War Facebook page, liking a Facebook page to me felt like torture. I'd rather do that instead of paying $20.
I would suggest, as a Run the Jewels fan, to have some sort of special offer. Buy a Run the Jewels Gears of War Edition t-shirt and get a code to play as them. And that would have been an awesome promotion. Pre-order their album, a physical copy of their CD or vinyl, get a code to play as them. Get codes for skins if you buy stickers or etc. There's a lot of ways they could have handled the Run the Jewels promotion that would have not left a sour taste in people's mouths. I actually saw a lot of people kind of hating on Killer Mike and LP because of this event, which kind of bummed me out because they seem to be really cool people. They offer their albums for free digital downloads. So it just didn't really go with the kind of tone. They're offering music for free, and if you want to play as them in Gears of War, that's $20 on top of the $60 you spent on the main game or the $80 you spent on the Season Pass Deluxe Edition. As a fan of Run the Jewels and Gears of War, I would have bought a $20 t-shirt to support Run the Jewels and Gears of War. That to me is a no-brainer. That promotion,
They dropped the ball completely on this promotion, which should have been a slam dunk.
and if we're talking about the new feature packs such as the UIR pack or the Onyx Gold pack, once again, I'm glad to see that the Coalition is listening to fans and reducing the cost. I just don't understand their mindset. If you want me to spend $5 or $10 extra on skins and characters, make it worth my time. I have no problem grinding and playing the game to unlock content. Something about $10 for the UIR pack initially was just kind of sad. And it unfortunately came off as very tone deaf amidst the players' complaints of microtransactions and lack of content for the season pass. $10 for the URR pack just really was salt in the wounds at the time. That's not for me. Most players aren't going to spend the $10, but there are people that are willing to spend $10.
If you want players to spend money,
Then please make it worth their time. If it was $10 to get all the content in the URR pack, I think that would have been fine. Not everyone will pay $10 to unlock all the content, but there will be a few people that are willing to spend $10 to get everything, all the skins, all the characters. Players such as myself are more than happy to grind for the packs. And once again, like I said, I can't stress this enough. I'm glad to see the Coalition is listening, but I do feel like we do have to speak up. I saw a lot of people in the Gears community trying to shut people up by saying you don't have to spend the money.
why are you complaining about free maps?
I don't care if I spend $10 because it's going to keep players like you who don't spend money playing. And I see this as a kind of way to shut down the conversation. But if there's a problem, you need to speak out. And I would encourage the community, when speaking out, to do it in a respectful manner. Let's have a discussion with the developers. So next time there's something that goes wrong with the game, whether it's something balance-wise, pricing-wise, or etc., if you don't agree with it, speak your mind.
And there you have it, my thoughts, opinions, and suggestions on how to improve Gears of War 4's multiplayer experience. Now, some of you might be asking, Danny, what are your thoughts overall on Gears of War 4? And to be honest, I'm kind of mixed. I find myself still going back to play this game despite its flaws. I don't see this game holding my attention like Gears of War 3 did. So my overall feeling, because I don't like giving scores, I feel like a number or grade score is kind of silly and pointless, but my overall feeling is a little ambivalent. I enjoy the game when it works and when it all comes together. I respect all the craftsmanship that went into this game. The game mechanics have been refined, the character models, the artwork, all of this that went into the game is truly amazing. I don't think I'll be sticking around with it for much longer. That's just me, that's just my thoughts, my opinions. If you want to share your thoughts, criticisms, or etc., feel free to leave a comment. And if you like these videos, please subscribe. I'll be making more content, more original content, not just critiques, but more just philosophizing and thinking about game design. Once again, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you around. Catch you later.